I became very close with. And, at the end of the thing, we had a little falling out because, the site was basically given up when I was willing to maintain it and stuff like that. And then shit was done, and said that, they didn't really want to give the site up, and then went and gave it to someone else, and then that fell through within hours. So I would have maintained that and handed it right back at that point. But, whatever. When no one's listening, it really doesn't matter anyway. So it's all good. I'd rather have 4 loyal listeners than worry about a Facebook presence. I might not have a lot of Facebook followers and shit like that, but the ones that are there listen to the show. There's some flakes, some fake profiles, whatever. But for the most part, those are true listeners, whether they listen every week or they listen every other week, or come back and listen to a show, or listen to it on iTunes, because the show's, it's available on iTunes, YouTube. So any podcast, I don't get all of those stats. I don't receive all of those stats. I'm linked on every podcast. These are just guesstimates, but I would say anywhere minimum between 40 and 75,000 listeners a month. That's without all these collectively. No one listens to it on YouTube. I know that it's a waste of time, but it's an automatic service, so why not? People download it on iTunes. It's great. Listen to it on iTunes at your leisure. Bring it in your car. You can download the Spreaker app. So whatever. It doesn't matter. Whether I bring you 1 fan or 100 fans, it's a show here to promote. So it is what it is. And now we're going to get it on with Cats and Yama, because I talk so much. And then I'm going to close out with a song by Chevelle. So this is the last you're going to hear of me on the show. I'll see you guys next week. We don't have a guest, so hopefully these guys will pull through with more successful segments like they always do. So I'm confident we can pull off a great show week after week. We don't need to shock you anymore with crazy antics and this and that. We want to bring a show, that does that and brings music to the fans. That's what it's all about. So some bands are dicks, some bands are not, and they're welcome on the show. I'm Jay Stone. Here's On Vinyl Review with Cats and Yama. 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 This is not the Cats and Yama show segment.
And now, it's time. Because it's not the Cats and Yama show segment, Vinyl Review. On the Jay Stone Show at rockmetaltalk.com.
Hey all, Cats and Yama here. As a starter, understand my taste in music may not be the same as yours. So relax. But these are the music recordings that are worthy to me to own on vinyl. That mystical creation for music consumption the music business was built on. Before today's new clickers made music your quote-unquote supposed right and you trashed our beautiful art form. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's still beloved by us past rock stars, songwriters, and musicians who still create, like myself and Jay. With that, here is this week's review. Tool. Undertow. You know why I started with this one? You lie, cheat, and steal. Those words ring out. And how apropos today to be saying something like that. Hillary. I can't stand her. I'm a little bit more distraught this week because of the demonstrations here in Charlotte. Especially, no offense, I know he was a father, I know he was a son, I know he was a husband, but let's call it spade to spade. When you carry a gun, A, do it legally. This guy had a rap sheet a mile long, 20 years worth, did time in Texas. So black folk, take a step back. If you decide to live the thug life and you decide to pull out your gun to police, you're an idiot. Number one. Number two, because of a rap sheet, he's not supposed to be walking around with a gun. So where are the people that hang out with this guy or know this guy, including family, telling the police he carries a gun? He should be put back in jail. There is your deterrent. Because if he did it legally and filled out his paperwork legally, he's never getting a gun. Period. So we'll start with that. When you see the video of the missus saying, Keith, don't do it. Keith, don't do it. What the fuck do you think that means? She's not fucking stupid. She knows what he does. She knows he has a gun. She said what she could say. Hopefully, the police would hear what she was saying, and maybe they wouldn't shoot him. But out of stupidity, he gets out of the vehicle and pulls out a gun? Alright, first of all, that was your first mistake. Actually, I should say your second mistake. Your first mistake is knowing that you got a gun illegally. If you kept it in your glove compartment or in your car, A, the cops don't fucking see it. If they ask you or question you with the gun, whether you came out of the car with a gun or without a gun, you're in trouble anyway. So why fucking put your life on the line and put your family in disarray. So now, us law-abiding citizens have to deal with a curfew because your brethren has to go around and lewd the fucking city. And then an actual innocent person, someone who didn't have a rap sheet, gets fucking killed by another thug. So, what about that family? What about that family? So what did that demonstration fucking prove? Nothing. It proved that you're a bunch of fucking animals. Animals. There's a culture that needs to wake up. And don't tell me it's not fucking race inflicted. Any black man that gets fucking killed, there's an uproar. Recently, forgot what university, black cop killed a white kid. Not a freaking blurb. Again. But us white people are racist, right? Is that what you're saying? I don't fucking think so. But you can thank Obama, especially when he goes to the Black Caucus, when you should be speaking to black people and say that in that environment, yes, black lives matter, but yet you say all lives matter, which means you disrespected that Black Caucus. Obama, you're an idiot. And then you want them to go ahead and vote Hillary? So the black people who are milking our system right now, and I'm not calling all black people American milkers, but let's call it spade to spade. I know how the system works, especially if you're black. Two people, unmarried, they have kids. She gets food stamps. She gets welfare benefits. He's a thug. He's dealing drugs. He's making cash on the side. He gets an apartment, but he lives in his mom's house. So the government looks at it at he's unable to provide. They rent an apartment in her name. He keeps his address at mom's. She claims half the kids. He claims the other half. When it's all said and done, these people are making $70,000 a year, while us folk actually going out there, working for a fucking living, making maybe 30, 40, maybe 50,000, busting our ass, working 50 hours. We're the problem. Really? Really? I'm not trying to make this a racist thing, but let's call it spade to spade. Black folk, you're fucking up our country. 13% of you populate it, yet more than half of you kill it with murder. That's the truth. Why? What are you proving? But then when you kill each other, you all rant and rave and start a riot and start disrupting the city for other people who live there. Here's a thought. I drove through the city in Charlotte that very next night, and I already knew this, but there's homeless people who live in the city, and they live on these benches and they sleep on the church steps because the buildings actually give them a little bit of shelter from the elements. When it's windy and when it's raining, they can hide under something. How freaking scared shitless were these people? These people can't do anything for themselves. They're either meant to